just yesterday, me and my best friend were sat there, and I was wearing one of my gym shirts, those very tight gym shirts, and I couldn't help but notice on the other side of the street this girl that was looking at me, and she was clearly looking at my physique, and then looking at my face, and then almost realizing that she was looking at me and kind of looking away. And and as I was leaving, I couldn't help but see her cross the street and come to the area that me and my best friend were sat in. See, in our age, we're told to be fat asses. We're giving every single excuse to be a fat ass. We're given all the sugar, we're given all the junk food, we're given all the instant gratification shit that will just keep you where you are. And no wonder that so much people have submitted to this reality, because it has become a reality. And everyone knows it's so unhealthy, and yet no one's banning it, no one's stopping it. And this is, I think, one of the biggest problems that humanity is facing. Just humans genuinely becoming weak. And from a very long time, the human has tried to make itself a lot more comfortable. But perhaps seeking that goal and achieving it isn't exactly what the human needs. On the other side of the spectrum, you have the guys who grew up like me and perhaps like you, where we were basically almost underfed. We were fed bullshit food, but we didn't eat enough, and so we developed quite skinny. We developed not exactly in the way that we should be. And I think you can relate to this. You grew up and you've always kind of been like just this skinny kid. And maybe a part of it was kind of deliberate for you, but the major stuff was really the fact that you just were underfed and you were conditioned to not eat so much. And I think this also has a part of this underground shit that we shouldn't know about, where people are basically made broke just so that they won't eat so much, so that they won't consume so much. And then again, it goes into a whole new other rabbit hole. And this is where bulking comes in, because at least you know, and that's one of the best things I could ever say, at least you know that you should bulk, because a lot of people don't know like that they should bulk, and they think they should cut instead. And if you're in that zone, which I don't think so, but if you're in it, I'll leave this video somewhere above there. I made this video about why you need to bulk. You should definitely watch this video. And you know, honestly, I know how hard it is to build a top 1% physique, like these Greek god physiques. It's very hard to build these physiques. I've got one myself, but I've genuinely suffered a lot to be able to get this. And there's a lot of misinformation and people who are trying to feed you just shit and get you to buy their supplements. And it's honestly fucking bullshit. Everyone wants to sell their supplements and shit. But that's why I made the Greek god protocol. You see, in this protocol, I help you to become or to build the Greek god physique. And we use this very specific methodology that I've analyzed in all these Olympia champions. These guys that are like, that tan themselves and then like they come up on stages and start posing around. I've analyzed these guys who are huge, who've got load tons of like muscle. And I've created this Greek god protocol for us to use so that we can grow our muscles ever faster and so that we can get the results that we want ever faster and build our dream physiques. And so if you're interested, I'll leave my Instagram as the first link in the description. You can DM me to learn more. So let's actually get into the video. So I've categorized this, like the contents of this video, into 3 categories. The healthy, like diets, like the bulking diets that are healthy, the bulking diets that are just yap and are just basically eat whatever the fuck you can. And then some tips on both of those to actually like be able to get you to your goals. So the first one is a low-carb, no-plant diet. And this is kind of like the best case scenario. If you can bulk up on just pure low-carb, no plants, like genuinely just trying to eat as much meat as possible and you can genuinely afford it, this is perhaps like the best thing you can go on. Maybe some carbs from here and there. The main thing that you would focus on is hitting your calories, and this would be the main goal, eating as much meat as possible till you hit your calories. I'm usually not the biggest fan of this one, just because, you know, it's like usually you kind of need to eat a lot more carbs. Some people like just have to do it because, you know, they've got other priorities in life. And certainly if you're one of those people, you shouldn't like try and eat so much carbs that your brain turns off. The second one is complex carbs, no sugar. So basically it's like focusing on eating an intense amount of carbs, but no sugar. So you just don't eat sugar and you're focusing on eating complex carbs. So basically no simple carbs like eating cakes and shit. Like it's not like the most unhealthiest thing, but at the same time you're still eating like some potatoes, you're still eating like some grains and some shit. You know, like the first option is really just almost going full carnivore, as opposed to this one, which is a bit more kind of, you know, the casual diet, but just limiting sugar, of course no seed oils and all this stuff, you know, like basically trying to avoid unhealthy shit. And the third one is basically eating complex carbs and sugar, but just avoiding junk food and all the processed foods and, you know, like the COs and shit. Just basically like trying to be like the as close to unhealthy as possible, but not fully unhealthy. But you probably don't care about none of these three. You just want to bulk up as fast as possible, and you don't care about health. That's just how it is. You just want to build a good physique, and you don't care whether it's healthy or unhealthy, or whatever. You just want to build the physique. And so the faster way, and probably the better way, is just to go for a dirty bulk, honestly. Like, just eat as much as possible, genuinely. Like, whatever you can get your hands on. Of course, like, try and, like, if you could get your calories just by eating some cheese sandwiches, that's better than eating, like, full-on McDonald's and cake, you know? Like, this is genuinely what I'm doing right now. I'm almost this pseudo-dirty bulk. I'm not fully dirty bulk, I'm just pseudo-dirty bulk. And how you would go about this is basically, you would try and eat as much of the healthy food as possible, but you've got, like, 2,000 calories. It wouldn't make any sense for you to try and just sludge in, like, 16 sandwiches. And so what you would do instead is maybe 6 sandwiches and then get like 3 slices of cake. And then that would save you a lot of the trouble. And so, like, sometimes I take the other option of just eating 16 like sandwiches. The majority of the time I don't. And I think this is something that you kind of build as you go on in the journey. But the main point here is just eat as much shit as possible. Like, this is the third unhealthy option. This is personally what I use. I'm kind of in between the two, like, healthy and unhealthy ones. Now for some tips. So the first one is simply stacking in as much ingredients in one bite. So basically, the more bites you have, the more unhungry you're going to become because you've been eating. And the key thing is trying to sludge in as much calories as possible, which means that you will try to basically eat like as much shit in one bite. So what does that mean? Bulking shakes are the greatest example of this. You get your bulking shake, you just put everything in there. You put some cheese, you put some olive oil, you put some like protein, you put some fucking milk, you put like, I don't know, some honey or some shit, maybe like some peanut butter, whatever you put in there, and you just slug it up. This is the greatest example of getting as much like calories in one bite. Another example is putting so much ingredients that are actually high calorie, and I have to point this out. You have to be putting high calorie like ingredients in there. So what's the point of adding in some eggs in your like bulking shake if they're not so high calorie? Because they've got some good protein, maybe like you want that, but why would you try and sludge in more shit to fill up the volume when it's not really so high calorie? And so you would go for basically like, I don't know, like drizzling your sandwiches with some olive oil and like a shit ton of olive oil. I don't know, like putting some like pieces of meat with the cheese, maybe like putting multiple slices of cheese in there, putting some butter, some fats in there, like genuinely just sludge in as much ingredients in one bite as possible. And basically like make this a practice, because the more calories you can get in one bite, the more calories you'll eat overall, which means the better your bulk will come out. The second one is just eating more. Like, it's so easy to just say. I know it's much harder to actually implement, but genuinely, like, eat more. Like, you can try and tell me, like, you know, like, I don't know, I just can't eat, I'm not really hungry. Well, eat, even when you're not hungry. This is something that a lot of skinny guys will tell you. I have a fast metabolism or whatever. And it's like, it's just complete bullshit. You don't have nobody's fast metabolism. You just don't eat enough. And a good tip for this one, to be able to eat more, is just to actually track your calories, because you'll realize how much you undereat by tracking shit. And there's a reason that people like track their calories. It's because they want to optimize for eating as much as possible. And then again, if you aren't tracking your calories, what are you doing with your life? You're not bulking right. You're not eating right. And probably that's the main reason why you're not getting so much growth. And so basically, track your calories. Like install an app called MyFitnessPal. Basically start adding in all like the foods that you eat, and then start to like calculate how much you have to eat, and then eat that much for the rest of your calories. And if you hit your calories, congratulations. Just keep doing this over and over and over again every single day, and you'll get to your bulking goal. The third one is simply not eating low-calorie foods. I already talked about this, but I really need to emphasize this. Don't eat low-calorie foods. Don't eat foods that don't got enough calories. So imagine if I wanted to bulk, but all I ate were just celery and lettuce and whatever. Bro, like the whole fucking stack of lettuce is like, I don't know, like 10 calories or some shit. Eating some spinach won't help your calories. And so honestly, I'm just going to be totally honest with you. And I have other reasons to do this, but I don't eat plants. Like, specifically vegetables. I genuinely don't eat vegetables. Like, I just don't, like, first, I just don't like them because, you know, like plant toxin and whatever. And second of all, it's just, they're not as healthy as everyone makes them. And they don't got enough calories. So, like, you've got 3 reasons for you to really delve into. I'm not going to delve into them in this video. But seriously, just don't eat low-calorie foods. And this is, again, another reason for you to become a calorie enthusiast and actually start calculating calories. I'm surprised the amount of people who don't calculate their calories. Like, I ask most of my, like, guy friends in the gym, and I tell them, hey, like, do you calculate your calories? And they're like, no, I don't calculate my calories. I just eat more. And it's like, bro, there's no such thing as eating more. It's like saying, oh yeah, I bulk up, but I don't weigh in. Well, what's the damn point? It's like, you're not weighing in. You don't have a metric to track, so you can't know when you face a problem. You're just going to have to guess. And it's just complete bullshit. Just actually have a metric to track by. And then again, like, some stuff don't require much metrics. Other stuff require metrics, and you have to have them. And if you don't have them, you're going to struggle. And there's a reason that, like, there are big companies that thrive on these, like, apps. It's because they genuinely are solving a worldwide problem, which is people not eating enough. But in any case, that's kind of what I want to go through. Again, if you're interested in the Greek God Protocol and learning a bit more about this, DM me on my Instagram, and we'll discuss things from there. But in any case, that's kind of what I want to go through. Make sure to subscribe if you want to show me that you're part of the tribe, that you're committed to the message, that you actually want to get some fucking physique that blows people's minds away. And make sure to like this video if you want me to make more videos like this one, talking about these geeky fucking bodybuilding topics. And finally, if you commit to the work, you will be getting the results.